What if Izuku Midoriya had Crimson Instinct? In this what if, we'll be discussing what if Deku had a custom quirk inspired by the My Hero Academia universe and other factors that you may be able to catch on in the future. So, just in this what if, I will be altering his look partially. So instead of him having green hair, he shall instead be having, let's say, black hair. His eyes possibly could say the same, but honestly I can change it to how you guys want. So for now I'm gonna say it's just, I don't know, brown or blue, whatever. So, let's get on with the what if. We start off on Izuku's 4th birthday, as he wakes up absolutely ecstatic that today is the day he finds out what his quirk is. He runs to his mother's room, waking her up. A couple hours later, Inko and Izuku are waiting for the doctor to return with Izuku's results. As they wait, Izuku is lost in his imagination, wondering what his quirk is going to be. A few minutes later, the doctor returns to the room and sits down on the chair, and he says, "Congratulations, young man, you have a quirk." After hearing this, Izuku is completely gleaming in joy. As his mother asks, "What kind of quirk does Izuku have?" "Well, Miss Midoriya, before I tell you, I would like to ask what you and the father's quirks are." Inko simply replies, "Well, his father can breathe fire while I can levitate small objects." The doctor replies, "That's very intriguing, Miss Midoriya, as it would appear that young Izuku has developed a quirk that is completely different." And as to your previous question, it would appear that his quirk is a type of transformation quirk that we are calling Crimson Instinct. His quirk seems to allow him to move at superhuman speed, and as a result his eyes turn red to allow him to react to such high speeds. We have also discovered that he loses 60% of his strength as he converts that to his speed. We have also discovered the opposite, where he was able to convert 60% of his speed to his striking power. And as a result of this, his eyes return to his normal color, and his hair turns a bright red. Based on the results, we do believe that he can give his forms a bigger boost in power, but that will also result in a bigger drawback to the opposite attributes. After processing all this information, Inko thanks the doctor and takes Izuku to celebrate his birthday. The next day, Inko drops off Izuku to the park to play a Bakugo. As Izuku approaches Bakugo, he tells Izuku that he's unlocked his quirk, called Explosions, and asks if Izuku has gotten his yet. In response to the question, Izuku excitedly tells him that yes, he has unlocked his quirk, as he then proceeds to activate his speed variation, as his eyes turn a bright red and crimson lightning begins to pulsate around him. This surprises Bakugo and the others around him. One of the kids come up behind him to pat him on the back for unlocking his quirk, but his quirk tells Izuku to move forward to avoid being hit. So as a result, he moved forward, causing the kid to miss. This surprises everyone as Bakugo asks, "Why did you move out the way?" All Zuko said was his quirk told him, or his quirk made him feel like he had to move forward. Bakugo was confused by the response, but decided it's probably nothing, as he asked that, "Is there anything else your quirk can do?" And Izuku, and all he does in response is simply reply, "Yes," as his red eyes return to the normal color and his hair turns red. And in the same moments his hair turns red, his lightning condenses around him and swirls above his head, causing erupting into a fiery red aura. And as the transmission settles, it lets out a pressure, or an air pressure wave, bursting out, causing everything in the surrounding area to rustle a little bit. This gains everyone's attention, as this is something that's definitely unique to this kit. Bakugo at this point has his jaw on the floor in pure astonishment as he asks, "How could he have such a cool and awesome quirk?" All Zuko says in response to that, "He has no clue. It's completely different to my parents' quirk." Bakugo says in response, "Then we'll have to come up with a name for you. It seems like your quirk can do pretty much anything." That's it. At this point, he comes up with the idea to call him Deku. As to him, it sounds similar to how you say "you can do it" in Japanese. Deku decides that that's a good idea and agrees with him. He then proceeds to try and high-five Bakugo, thanking him for the new nickname. As they proceed to try and high-five, Izuku accidentally releases some of his power, causing a short, very brief air pressure to erupt, pushing back Bakugo's hands, causing everyone to be surprised by this. In a moment of realization, he asks Deku to punch as hard as he can into the air. Although confused, Deku winds his fist back and tries to mimic All Might by shouting, "Detroit Smash!" as he punches the air, releasing a small burst of air hurtling towards a flock of birds, causing them to break formation in order to avoid the incoming attack. At first, he is worried about the birds being hurt, but they then see them just flying away just a bit more faster than usual. At this point, the 10 years, well, the story goes on like normal in the anime, where it leads up to the final day in school that we see in the show, where the teacher comes in asking everyone, "So what do y'all want to be?" Who am I kidding? Y'all want to be heroes! As everyone erupts into agreements and shouting. As everyone calms down, Bakugo says you extras aren't going to be able to become a hero. The only one able to be one is me and Deku here. As the teacher then proceeds to collect the paperwork he just threw into the air, he says that although I know everyone wants to apply to UA, it would appear that two of our very own have decided to apply. One of them being Bakugo and the other being young Izuku Midoriya. As everyone agrees that those two are the most strongest in the class and are definitely likely to get into UA. As the end of class comes to an end, Deku is writing in his notes as Bakugo and two of his friends approach him asking, "Hey Deku, wanna come with us afterwards? Hanging out at the park nearby?" Izuku simply says, "Sorry, Kanchan, I can't. I need to get a few things for my mom." Bakugo simply replies, "Okay, see you tomorrow or whenever we decide to meet up, alright?" "Yeah, okay," replies Midoriya. As Midoriya is walking home, he decides to take a alternate route that leads him under a mini bypass, or overpass, or whatever. Low tunnel. As he walks through it, he can hear gurgling sounds from the nearby grates. And just a few seconds later, this weird sludge-like liquid oozes out of the grill and starts to make shape into a humanoid-like figure. You know what I mean. After seeing him rise up, Izuku can clearly tell that he's a villain, but he is still surprised, as it's the first time he's seen a villain this up close. As the villain looks around, he sees young Midoriya saying, "Ah, perfect. The perfect meat shield." As he then lunges at Midoriya, trying to take over his body. Instinctively, Izuku activates a speed quirk, getting out of the way of the villain's path, causing him to run back past him. Izuku knows he can take this on, but he has to be careful just in case he damages the surrounding building. The villain says, "Damn you, brats. How did you get out of my way? I need to use your body to get the hell out of here before he shows up." As all Midoriya says in response is, "Wait, before who shows up?" In that very moment, the sewer grate shoots into the air, and as it comes back down, nearly hitting Midoriya, ironically. As up comes another human who Izuku knows very well. All Might has appeared. As he says, "Do not worry, young man, for I am here." As the sludge monster then proceeds to freak the hell out, saying, No, get the hell away from me." "Sorry, villain. Not gonna happen." As All Might then proceeds to pull back his fist and thrust it towards the villain, releasing a wave of air pressure so hard it splatters him all across the inside of the tunnel. At this point, Izuku is in pure astonishment that his number one idol is standing right next to him, seeing him take out a villain firsthand, as he immediately starts to think the possibilities, what he could do, what he could say, as All Might tries to get his attention by saying, young man, are you okay?" Young man." As Midoriya then proceeds to snap out of his oh so iconic muttering, saying, "Oh, sorry, All Might, so you've got the tendency of muttering." Hey, you just stuck to me. Yes, young. Well, what's your name? Oh, it's Izuku Midoriya, sir. Well, young Izuku, I hope that villain didn't cause you too much trouble. No, it didn't, sir. It did kind of surprise me, but I managed to get out of the way in time. Good. Well, if I can ask, could you help me roll him up? Yeah, sure, All Might. The two then proceed to bottle up the sludge villain into the two spare soda bottles that All Might just happened to have, as he places them in his pocket. As before he jumps off, he says, "Thank you, young man. Hope you have a good day." Just before he jumps, Deku asked, "Oh my, can I have your autograph, please?" As he simply responds, "You may want to check in your book already. I already did it." As he then frantically looks into his notebook, seeing that he has a autograph from All Might. And this surprised him, and thanked him so much for the autograph, saying that this will be his family heirloom, it will pass down by generations, making All Might laugh on the inside a little bit. So, All Might then proceeds to say, "Well, I'm off, young man. Hope to see you again someday." Well, see ya. As he then proceeds to fly off, or I guess jump off, into the distance. Later on, Izuku is walking through the town on the way home as he hears a explosion in the distance. He then instinctively walks towards it as he gets his pen and paper ready to note down the new attack between the heroes and villains. As he approaches, he manages to get to the front of the line as he sees the sludge villain from earlier being cornered on two sides by heroes with civilians behind him on both sides. As he hears one of the pedestrians next to him saying that he taken a hostage, as that makes Suzuki wonder who could it be. As another small explosion is then released, Izuku then gets the realization of who it is as the sludge monster turns towards his side, or towards Izuku just enough to see the face of his friend struggling to try and save himself from his villain. This puts Izuku into pure shock, seeing his best friend being held hostage by this villain, and wondering why none of the heroes are attempting to save him. He then notices what kind of quirks the heroes have, and know that none of them have a compatible quirk that can allow them to save Bakugo, but also protect themselves from the sludge villain, as Bakugo's explosion also becomes a deterrent for them to not come towards him. As Suzuki is wondering why can't anyone try and help him, Bakugo looks up towards Deku with such a scared face that his body just naturally reacts. He runs past the wood hero, the fireman hero, as he has no idea of just what he's doing, of why is he running. All he knows is that he has to save his friend. As the sludge villain turns around to see what is coming, he sees it's the same kid from before. Seeing that, oh, you have returned. Well, if this one won't suffice, you might be next. As Mizuku takes off his bag and hurls it towards the villain's eyes, causing him to slightly release Bakugo from his grip. As he says, "What the hell are you doing, Deku? Get the hell out of here!" As Izuku simply replies, "I can't, Kanchan. I'm not gonna allow you to be taken away by this villain and possibly killed." As the villain regains his eyesight, he notices Izuku attempting to save his best friend. As he attempts to attack Izuku activates his speed quirk, or speed variation, to back away from the villain, as he then tells Kanchan to hold on, as he's gonna do a smash. He then powers up into his strength variation as his hair turns into bright red color and his aura shoots into life. As it surprises everyone just what this boy's quirk is, he winds back his hand and in imitation of All Might, he yells, "Detroit Smash!" And in that moment, he releases his power at a shock. A powerful force of Air Force, whatever, shoots towards the sludge villain with nearly equivalent to half of All Might's power. Yes, he's been training so much he's gone to half of All Might's power whenever he does it. Got a problem with it? Tell me in the comments or bite me. As this causes the sludge villains to be slightly pushed back, but releasing more of his grip on Bakugo than before, but it didn't cause him to fully disperse like it did with All Might's first punch in the tunnel. To this, Bakugo and Deku were surprised that it didn't work. And at that moment, when Deku was wondering just what he could do to try and save his best friend, All Might appears. He says, "Do not need to worry again, young man, for I am here." As he then grabs onto Deku, proceeds to do a Texas smash, causing enough wind pressure to completely disperse Sludge Villain yet again, while also causing a massive tornado to form, while making him have to immediately grab both Bakugo and Deku just so they won't be blown away by the resulting wind pressure. After the two are being set down, he then asks if everyone's okay, as the people around him proceed to notice that it's begun to rain randomly. Looking up now, seeing in astonishment that, oh my god, I might change the weather. Later on, the police are there to take care of the incident, as All Might has properly bottled up the sludge drill again, making sure that this time he doesn't escape. As Izuku is walking home, Bakugo walks up to him saying, "I didn't need your goddamn help, Deku. I could have gotten that out myself." As Izuku simply replied, "Maybe so, but I still will not refuse to let my friend be hurt or killed when they are captured by a villain." As Bakugo simply says, "Whatever, Deku. See you later." As Izuku slowly walks down slightly more into the alley, he notices All Might pop around the corner partially giving him a heart attack, as he's definitely gone through enough of that today. And in this point is trying to go on as usual, minus the fact that he has, well, he does have a quirk at this point. But at this point, I'm gonna say he doesn't accept One for All, as at this point he already has the power equivalent to it, as he would not see why. Well, he would want to, but he just seems that with his power he may not be worthy. And also, just for this one, I do want to have it so someone else had One for All, so. Plus, it already would make the already overpowered quirk a bit too much overpowered. So I'm still going to allow Mirio to have that one. So as Izuku thanks All Might for the offer but declines, All Might is in somewhat of a shock as he explains, "Young man, why did you not accept my gift? I have deemed you worthy to be my successor for One for All. Why have you not accepted this gift?" As Deku simply replies, "Honestly, All Might, I don't know. I get the honor of what it could be like to have such power, but I don't believe in myself I could be worthy enough to wield it." Although All Might is confused by his answer, he does simply agree, saying, "Very well, young man. However, at least allow me to help train you so that we can better improve your quirk." To this, he does agree, as even he wants to know just how far he can push his Crimson Instinct. Alright, this is going to be the end of this video. I know maybe not much people are going to watch this, but at least everyone does. Comment below, do you want a second one? If you do, yeah, I got to better express my creativity. Try my hand at what ifs again. And if I manage to, I will possibly create a second what if for a somewhat similar but a bit more different what if. So, that'll be me signing off.